Really quick, everybody, this entire video will be timestamped, so if you don't watch holding, just jump straight into a different topic. Please check the pinned comment or check the little red bar right down below you. Again, this entire video will be timestamped, and I appreciate you guys watching whatever part that you'd like to. And if you're sticking around, guys, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels, and welcome to the weekly news recap of UFC and MMA, where we take a look at all of the stories that you missed from MMA, and I give my reaction and breakdown to each little piece of news. Like I said, the whole video is timestamped, so if there's something you want to skip, you're more than welcome to. I appreciate you being here. With that being said, let's get straight into it. Starting off with last week, what are the biggest takeaways from UFC 283? We have two legends in the game retiring, and I'm glad, man. I am very glad Glover Teixeira is finally retiring. Mauricio Shogun Rua, a legend in the game. Still my favorite fight of all time was him versus Dan Henderson. It's really sad to see him go out the way he did, but this was to be expected. You guys were in the game for way too long. And another big takeaway from it is, first of all, Jamal Hill is definitely the real deal. I can't wait to see from him. But also, Jailton Almeida. Man, we got to watch out for that guy. I am excited for his next fight. So those are my biggest takeaways from UFC 283. Let me know what you think. After that, we have a crazy story of Conor McGregor, and I'm sure you've heard of it because this has been absolutely everywhere. He was accused of attacking a woman on the yacht, just going on, trying to kill her like McGregor's a supervillain. You know what I mean? A totally 100% real and believable story of Conor McGregor again, and nobody definitely wants his money. That could not possibly be the case. Conor McGregor is very, very evil, and that's the accusation he's going through right now. Seems like a new weekly thing with Conor McGregor at this point. So typically with this piece of news, guys, I usually go in order, but this breaking news right before I recorded it. So this piece of news that I was covering before, and I wrote down, I have my notes here, is Charles Oliveira was open to Dariush match and wants to fight in April. And just actually before I recorded this a couple hours ago, the UFC is now actually targeting that fight, and I really, really like this fight, but I also hate this fight because I am a huge fan of both Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush, two of my favorite fighters ever. That's going to break my heart watching it, but I will have to cheer for Beneil. I hate cheering against Charles Oliveira, but that is a fantastic matchup in the UFC. I cannot wait to watch the striking and grappling exchanges, the scrambles that Beneil can create, and the submissions that Charles Oliveira can throw up. It's a toughie on who's going to win that fight. I gotta lean towards Charles, but I'm really not sure. This is one of those 50-50 fights for me. So please let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Fantastic fight. This will be one of the most exciting fights of the year, but I hate this fight because, again, they're two of my favorite fighters. After that, UFC hit us with another banger, Song Yadong versus Ricky Simón in April, and man, that's a good fight. I was really, really waiting to see when Song Yadong is going to fight again because his fight with Corey Sandhagen is absolutely fantastic. I was always a little bit high on him, but now he has proved that he belongs in the top of the division. He can hang with the best of the best. I can't wait to see him fight again. His fight last time was just an absolute clinic. It was a treat to watch, and he is going to destroy Ricky Simón. I'm going to make some money betting on that one, that's for sure. It's a great fight, though. After that, we had another banger, Said Nurmagomedov versus Jonathan Martinez on March 11th, and that is a great fight, too. I have a feeling Nurmagomedov is going to win that fight. I'm not really hyped on Martinez being a top contender yet. However, I really enjoy watching him fight. I really like him as a person. I'm going to cheer for him in that fight. I don't think he's going to win, but still, that should be an absolute banger. I'm very, very excited for that fight, too. The UFC has been hitting us with some amazing matchups since Ngannou left the UFC. It's like all of a sudden he left and it was like, nah, the UFC needs me. And then the UFC goes, bang, matchup, 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 matchup. This is going to be a great year for the UFC. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I really like watching Jonathan Martinez. We also at UFC 283 got Jose Aldo inducted into the Hall of Fame, and if there's a guy who really deserves a Hall of Fame spot, it is Jose Aldo, one of the greats of all time. Man, it's crazy that I've been watching UFC for this long now, and Jose Aldo is retiring. He's done. I know he's been done for a little while, but still, like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I watched him, like, his whole reign of championship, and it was really fun for him to watch. He deserves all of the honor that he is getting now, and it was really nice to see the crowd cheer for him when that whole induction announcement, the trailer was playing in the arena. It was great in his home crowd, and I just loved the smile on his face. He definitely deserves a Hall of Fame spot, and now, it's sad that it all got taken away from him because all the casuals just see him as, he got knocked out by McGregor, but nobody really knows his dominant championship run. I still remember him in the WC days. That was absolutely insane. Oh, that was very nice to see. I'm very glad, and I can't wait to see him actually, get presented in that award. You know what I mean? It's going to be really fun. Next up, we have Kelvin Gastelum's actually back, and he is fighting Chris Curtis at UFC 287. Gotta say, I don't like that fight for Kelvin Gastelum, man. Kelvin Gastelum, I love watching him fight. I like Chris Curtis too, but I'm a huge Kelvin Gastelum fan. He had a chance against Imavov, man. That would have been a winnable fight for him, but now Chris Curtis, he's been too active. He's been too much on a roll. I think he's going to beat Gastelum, but Gastelum, he's one of those fighters that can kind of beat anybody. He can kind of lose to anybody, so that's an iffy one. I don't think Gastelum's going to win that fight because of the amount of time that he has been off ring rust. I am a total believer in ring rust, so That's going to be a tough one for Gastelum. Chris Curtis is on a roll, and he's probably going to spring in a top 10 spot maybe after this. Excuse my phone there. I just worry for Kelvin. I always wonder if the UFC is going to cut him if he loses this one, man. It's not going to be fun. Another matchup is Volkov versus Romanov, and it's a nice heavyweight fight. Really cool. It's always fun to see the battle of the Alexanders in this one, but I like watching Volkov fight. It's like, you never know if he's going to get out there and kill somebody or get killed, so it's always a fun fight watching him fight. You know what I mean? Moving on again, Loureda, and I'm not sure if she makes her debut because I've seen some people talking about a debut in WWE. I guess you can count this as MMA news. I'm mostly using it for thumbnail because, like, you know what I mean? She definitely attracts eyes, and I don't really have too much else to say about it. People who like WWE will probably like Loureda. Who doesn't like looking at Loureda, right? So there you go. WWE event. If you want to watch Valerie Loureda, and I keep mispronouncing her name even, so this is a disaster. The point is, she's in the WWE. If you're interested, go watch her. She's a great fighter. I'm sure she will do great in WWE. I personally won't be watching, but of course, she's very easy on the eyes. I can see her bringing in a lot of people to get a pay-per-view. After that, we've been getting into a little bit of the interviews that have been going on this week. And Johnny Walker, something that we do to take away from all these interviews, Johnny Walker actually wants to be champ. He looks up to Daniel Cormier and wants to do the same thing he did. He had a fantastic win against Paul Craig. That's going to be tough to do with the chin that he has, though. Is it possible? Absolutely. Is it probable? No, I don't see him. Like, look at him. Like, he got finished by Jamal Hill. It would happen with anybody in the top 5. And I really don't imagine his chin being that great at heavyweight either. However, like, you know what? He looked great, and he's at a new gym. He lives in Ireland now. He's under John Kavanagh, so maybe he'll do something. Maybe. It'd be nice to see, but I just don't have faith in him, so we'll see. Maybe this will age like wine. After that, more fight news that I hate. We first had Charles Oliveira versus Beneil Dariush, then Kelvin Gastelum's going to get mopped, and now Dan Hooker's going to get mopped, man. Dan Hooker versus Jalen Turner at UFC 285. Turner, I am so hyped on that guy. I think he's just going to absolutely destroy Dan Hooker. He's going to control him the whole time and do what he wants to do. And Dan Hooker, I love watching Dan Hooker fight. I like Dan Hooker. He is coming off of a win, but still, he needs a win. He can't keep winning, losing. You know what I mean? He needs a win. I don't like this fight for him, but it makes sense in the rankings. And Turner, it's going to be a nice bump up for him. He's going to really do what he wants to do with Dan Hooker, and that's going to give him that's going to give like the eyes of the casuals. You know what I mean? So, tough one for Dan Hooker. I don't see him coming out for it, but I will be cheering for him. After that, this one kind of came out of nowhere. Nick Diaz got an acting role. I don't know what for what movie or if he's going to continue acting, but Nick Diaz, I have a really hard time seeing him being a good actor unless he like plays security or something where he doesn't have a lot of lines. I don't know. That's just my thing. I can't see. Can you guys honestly see any of the Diaz brothers acting? I can't. I hope it's good, but it's like, I don't know. I'm just going to see him as Nick Diaz. It's like watching The Rock in something too, but The Rock, like, I don't know. I just don't see Nick like really caring about acting. You know what I mean? It's just going to be like, oh yeah, like, hey Nick, your line is, hi, how are you? Oh yeah, hey, how's it going? You know, I have a feeling that's what it's going to be like, but it's interesting. I'm glad that he's making money, Nick Diaz. I don't know if he needs it, but still, hey, you know what? What can you do? After that, we got news that Khabib Nurmagomedov is not going to be in the corner of Islam Makhachev for his fight against Alexander Volkanovski coming up, and that is very interesting. As we all know, Khabib is retiring from all combat sports, including coaching, and that seems to be, there's a big question, right? Will he still coach Islam for his upcoming fight? Doesn't look like it's going to be the case. He's going home, apparently. He's going to spend time with the family, live his life. I'm happy for him, but at the same time, is this going to affect Islam at all? I don't know how much he really relies on Khabib, but then again, he's a champion. He's literally the best. Some people consider him to be the pound-for-pound number 1, so does he really need to be there? I don't know. It's tough to tell. I don't know if that's going to change the mindset of Islam at all, if he wants to have they're cousins, right? Yeah, if they want to have cousins there, regardless, I know they have a really close bond, and I don't know if that'll affect him. I don't think it will, but still, it's something to consider going into the fight. Moving on again, Luke Rockhold is a free agent. He's already done retiring, and he wants to box. He wants to fight in MMA in a different organization. I don't like that. He did not look good. I understand that his last fight was at Elevation with Paulo Costa, but still, it's with Paulo Costa, and Paulo Costa, he doesn't have a really good track record for his win right now. He gassed quicker than Luke Rockhold did pretty much, and I don't know. I have a feeling he's going to get chinned. Like, he went out on such a high note, even though he lost. You know what I mean? The fans love him, and I have a feeling he's going to go in there. He's going to get knocked out a couple times and then retire again, man. He should just quit. I think he should train. I think he should coach. I think he should do anything else besides actually competing. It's tough, man. It's tough. I don't want to see Luke Rockhold get... I'm sick of seeing these old fighters finish the way that they've been finishing, like with Glover and Shogun. Like, that was already really hard to watch, but now Luke Rockhold's going to happen too. It's all these legends. Why can't they all go out like Khabib Nurmagomedov? Even Henry Cejudo is coming back now, and he's going to go out a horrible way because he's out of shape and he's been out of the game for too long. He's going to get knocked out. Let's move on again, though. Let's move on. Volk and Islam actually had a face-off, and there's not too much else to say about this. I was really just sizing them up. Islam looks significantly bigger than Volkanovski, but Volkanovski looks pretty built. That's an interesting fight, and pretty much everyone has the height advantage on Volk, right? He's just a small guy, a big small guy, if that makes sense. So it's going to be interesting if Islam can take him down, because Volk does have a huge frame. I would imagine he would be able to take him down, but still, it's interesting to see them size up. Moving on again, Joe Pyfer versus Gerald Merrschaert at UFC 287, and that is a fantastic fight. I really like watching Joe Pyfer fight. I loved his debut. I loved watching him in Fury. His grappling is actually so good. I watch him. Like, did you watch his match with Eric Anders? That was crazy. Go back and watch it with Fury. He put on a grappling clinic. So it's very interesting that he's going to fight a grappler in Gerald Merrschaert. So is this going to be one of the hype trains that Merrschaert just crushes, or is he going to be the stepping stone that Joe Pyfer needs to break into the rankings? Very interesting fight. I'm looking forward to this one. I really like Joe Pyfer. I like Gerald too, but I'm really on the Pyfer train right now. I hope he gets this win. Then we have Alex Pereira calls out Jamal Hill. Wow, there was a lot of mixed feelings about this one in the MMA community. People don't want to see Alex Pereira because he doesn't deserve a title fight at light heavyweight. He doesn't deserve champ status, and he didn't deserve the title fight that he originally got. All of that's true. However, how funny are the memes going to be if he does get this fight and he does what Israel Adesanya could not do? That would be hilarious. That would be absolutely hilarious. He comes back down with 2 belts, beats Adesanya again. That would be, oh my God. I am so involved with the MMA meme community, and it's going to be a good time if that happens. So I want him to fight Jamal Hill because, dude, that is a winnable matchup for him. That's a winnable matchup for Alex Pereira. He can actually do this. If there's ever a time, it's now, especially because Adesanya, for whatever reason, isn't having that rematch booked. I don't know if something's going on with him. I don't know if he's injured, anything like that. Maybe Robert Whittaker's going to get the title fight. I don't know if we talked about that last week. I think we did. That's not in this week's news. Anyways, Robert Whittaker might actually get a title fight against Alex Pereira if Israel Adesanya does not want to fight. Still, that would be so funny. That would be hilarious. I really want that to happen, man. Next piece of news, Kyle Daukaus is a free agent. Sad to see, but it was a little bit of a hype train that got derailed. Kyle Daukaus, I have a feeling his brother is going to come very soon, but then again, heavyweight isn't nearly as like... They do need their heavyweights, so maybe a couple more losses for Daukaus, and then he'll go too. Maybe the brothers will be able to go somewhere else. Maybe PFL, one championship, who knows? Now, here's another interesting one. Conor McGregor said he's been offered to coach the Ultimate Fighter again, and Chandler wants to do it really bad. Chandler's been calling for this McGregor fight forever, so Conor... it'd be really cool to see him. It'd be a really fun way to keep McGregor in the spotlight, and it'd be a really fun way to hype up a fight. And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone that McGregor is going to fight, because look at last time with Uriah Faber. They didn't end up fighting. It was just a really, really fun, tough season. So Conor can pretty much handpick anybody that he wants to, but it would be really cool if it was like an opponent. I know some people express interest in Colby Covington. Some people express interest in Jorge Masvidal, Michael Chandler, even Dustin Poirier. I personally would like to see Jorge Masvidal, because that would be incredible, because Jorge is such a bad trash talker, and McGregor would just chew him up, and then Jorge would walk up with his arms behind his back, and then you'd have some fun exchanges with that. McGregor would be like, what you gonna do? You're not gonna do nothing. And it would just make for really fantastic TV, and I can see Michael Chandler just going in there and just showing nothing but respect, and I guess there's nothing really wrong with that, but still, it wouldn't make for like the best TV possible. I want like the trash talk with Uriah Faber, where it's like, you look like a 40-year-old retired skateboarder. I haven't watched The Ultimate Fighter in a long time. Conor McGregor would make me watch it again. I hope that he actually considers this. I hope this is a real offer, and I hope he does it. That would be fantastic. Moving on again, Sterling versus Cejudo is in the works for UFC 287. I love Henry Cejudo. He shouldn't have come back. He went out on the highest note that you could possibly go out, man. Just like Khabib. He could have went down like Khabib, one of the greatest of all time. But he's coming back. He's going to get destroyed by Sterling. Sterling is just going to control him. I understand Henry Cejudo is small. I understand his credentials in wrestling. He held down Mighty Mouse. But Sterling is too big. He's too much on a roll. And I like his back control. I think he's going to outwork Henry Cejudo for 5 rounds. I can't see a finish happening in this fight. It's going to be interesting. Henry Cejudo's been out for way too long. He's too out of shape. I don't like this. I don't trust this. It's going to be a sad day for a Henry Cejudo fan. He's going to go out, man. He's going to go out like Glover. He's going to go out like Shogun. He's getting older. And did he have kids? I know he wanted to have kids, but still, fighting isn't his life anymore. I can't see this being good for him. It's tough. Moving on again, Nunes versus Aldana is officially not happening. Amanda Nunes wanted her to fight Juliana Pena to see who's deserving for a title shot. But in my opinion, obviously, Juliana Pena does deserve a title fight because, of course, she's a mom. And 2, she's a mom. 3, she's a mom. Of course she deserves a title fight. Why would she have to fight Aldana? So Juliana Pena is not doing that. And it looks like the UFC wants to book her against Raquel Pennington. It's actually a good fight. The winner of that gets a title fight, gets slaughtered by Amanda Nunes. Who knows? I'm not really interested in that, but still, it's a piece of news worth mentioning. Also this morning, Rafael dos Anjos was taking to Twitter, or at least when I'm recording this the night before this comes out. He took to Twitter. He wants to fight anybody. He claimed that people are turning down fights, which I can kind of understand, because he's not necessarily in the rankings. He wants to have fun fights. If you beat Rafael dos Anjos, you don't really gain much. You beat a champion, but like, it's tough. You don't get anything in the rankings. You know what I mean? And he also expressed interest that he wants to fight Dustin Poirier at 170 to welcome to the division, because Dustin expressed some interest in moving up weight class. That would be a very interesting fight. I feel like Poirier would absolutely wreck him, but at 170, who knows what would happen, right? I don't know. I love Dos Anjos, love Poirier. I'd like to see that matchup, but I don't see that happening for some reason. I feel like Dos Anjos is just... I still want to see Dos Anjos fight McGregor, man. Put that on The Ultimate Fighter. The story that was never concluded, man. The Rafael Dos Anjos versus Conor McGregor on The Ultimate Fighter. That would be fantastic, and I'm calling for that fight for so long now. I'm not going to get into it. I made a whole video talking about it. Gilbert Burns also took to Twitter. He wanted to fight anybody. He wants to get back in there. He wants to get back on a roll. Bilal answered, said he would take the matchup. And also, Jorge Masvidal tweeted that he was interested in it, but it doesn't look like it because I don't know. Jorge Masvidal, I don't really trust what he says. He's probably going to be like, yeah, I'll fight you, and then just not sign anything because we know Gilbert Burns is going to sign. We know Bilal's going to sign. Will Jorge sign? Probably not, especially not for Gilbert Burns. A horrible matchup for him. Tough to tell, but I like Gilbert Burns. I would love the matchup against Bilal Muhammad. If winner gets a title fight, I think that's pretty solid. Yeah, make that fight, UFC. Moving on to One Championship news. Sage Northcutt is back, and he also said that One Championship is implementing new rules. Fighters are going to be weighed in after their fight, too, and they can't be more than 8 pounds over. I absolutely love this. Yeah, the fight already happened, but at the same time, you get fined and you won't be able to fight in the division anymore. That would be fantastic. They already have their hydration testing. I love everything that One Championship is doing. You know what? While we're here, I'm going to touch on the other piece of One Championship news is they are being sued. They're being sued because they're changing the rules of traditional Muay Thai. I don't know anything about that. I don't know if there's any merit on that, if they're going to win that case. Who knows? It's just something that One Championship's going through. I really love their events, by the way. It's really cool to see Sage Northcutt back. I didn't know if he was ever going to fight again, especially after that horrible injury that he had. I hope he wins his fight. I'm going to be looking forward to the first card in the U.S. I'm so excited. I actually enjoy One Championship fights more than UFC. I know it's a little bit unpopular to say, but man, their cards are so good. And the last piece of news I have for you right now, and we might have more, I'm just recording this at night. Kyler Phillips versus Rafael Hassansao in March. Great fight. Hassansao in his old age looked fantastic in his last fight. He had a resurgence. I'm excited to see him fight again. I want to see if he can continue that role. How crazy would it be? Probably unlikely. How crazy would it be if he made his way to the title? That'd be so cool. I love Hassansao. He's a very underappreciated fighter. Very, very skilled fighter. It's just, he could never get over that bump to get to the top. You know what I mean? He always just ended up losing once he got there. Kind of like the Neil Magny effect. You know what I mean? A very unappreciated fighter. So like I mentioned earlier, the reason that I'm recording this at night is because I have a very busy day. The next day, the day that you're going to be watching this, if you see me change clothes, that's because there are more news and I'm going to finish the outro. So I'm going to continue the recording and just want to give an explanation for why that's happening. And hello again, guys. Wow, we did get some pretty big news here, didn't we? Good thing I waited for I didn't just post this video last night and schedule it. Let's start off with Tony Ferguson. So, update on the Tony Ferguson versus Conor McGregor thing. Conor McGregor was offered to coach Tough, like I mentioned in the video. Now, apparently, Tony Ferguson has been offered to also coach Shelton Fighter. This is a great matchup. I don't know why I didn't think of this. I don't personally like Tony Ferguson on the Ultimate Fighter and coaching for reasons that I'll upload in another video. However, this is a good fight. This is a good fight, and it makes sense in the division. It really does. Like, Tony Ferguson moving up to welterweight, losing Conor McGregor going up to welterweight, a brand new division. He would lose to pretty much everyone there, so I like this. I like this a lot. There's going to be beef on the Ultimate Fighter, too. This would be incredible if it ended up happening. Moving on again, Arman Tsarukyan calls out Michael Chandler wants to take his spot in the rankings with his low fight IQ, and this is a great fight. This is actually the fight in the division that makes most sense for both Arman and Michael Chandler next, so I don't have too much else to say about this one, but this would be an absolute banger, and I can see Michael Chandler saying yes because the guy is like a big company man. Plus, it's time for Michael Chandler to fight someone a little bit below him. It's time for him to prove himself in his spot. You know what I mean? So, a very good fight. I hope it happens, and I don't know who I'd choose in that fight. That's a tough one. Moving on again, you remember Jimmy Rivera? I love Jimmy Rivera. I'm a huge fan of Jimmy Rivera, and it turns out he graduated police academy. Now he's going to be a police officer. I can see him being a good cop. He seems like a really good guy. I like Jimmy Rivera a lot. Happy for him. Hope he lives the rest of his life as like having fun being a police officer. Hopefully nothing bad happens to him, honestly. So I'm happy for him. This is what he wants to do. I'm glad. Got a couple more stories for you. Victor Petrino versus Anton Turkaj, and I'm not familiar with the Anton fighter. Anyways, that fight's done for March 11th, and I'm excited to see Victor back again because it seems like I don't necessarily know how much potential he has, but still, it's a really good fight. I liked watching him, and I'm not familiar with Anton, so I don't know how the matchup's gonna go. Still, fight announcement, I'm hyped for it. Now for the last and the biggest story of the day, Conor McGregor was hit by a car while he was riding on the bike. Apparently the dude was blocked by the sun and just slammed him from behind. That's wild. Like, could you imagine if Conor McGregor broke his leg again? And the guy got up and drove him home. And I gotta say, Conor McGregor, respect, because I would be so pissed. Same with everybody else in the world. You know what I mean? Obviously he doesn't need money. I like the attitude where he's coming from because if you watch the video for Conor McGregor, he's saying, or the post, I can't remember if it was the post or the video. I don't know. I watched it this morning. He said that he's just glad that it wasn't his time yet, and he's glad that he isn't hurt. Like, so much could have went wrong. A car hit him at full speed on a bike, and he's okay. It definitely wasn't his time yet. He definitely had, like, I don't know about you guys, but I believe, like, someone was watching over him in that case. That's absolutely incredible. I'm glad he wasn't hurt. And that guy, the guy was, like, spooked. Understandably so, but still, I don't know. Like, how blind were you? Should you really be driving full speed if you can't really see that much because of the sun? I don't know what the case is there. Regardless, everything turned out okay. That's incredible. Imagine hitting Conor McGregor on a bike. This dude lucked out with not getting sued. You know what I mean? So I'm glad Conor McGregor is okay. It seems like he has a really good outlook upon it. And it just actually made me view Conor McGregor a little bit differently because, I don't know. It's just really wholesome the way he was thinking. I liked it. But again, glad he's okay. That's the biggest story for today by far. And guys, that's all the news I have for you this week. If you're interested in hearing more MMA news, complete recaps, I'm going to be doing this every single Friday. So if you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe, comment down below what you think about anything I talked about in the video. I will see you in the next one. Take care.